Uh, Hello, educators. I want to welcome you to lecture 6 of our course. It is 2 weeks so far, and I would say we are now in the middle of the curriculum in mastering WordPress development course. Today in our lecture, we'll focus on leveraging the use of AI in web development. We'll understand the various ways how AI can help us to create content. And then probably we'll have to wrap up with creating a reference point. Talking to you as usual is teacher Dennis Ogesha Kruger. I want to warmly welcome my colleague who is on call and as always been very consistent in terms of time management. That said, I want to start off immediately. Okay, so our point of emphasis in the video in this discussion is how we can leverage the use of AI in web development. To begin with, I want to discuss something here briefly. Usually, when you have made a choice to develop a website, there is much research that has to occur. Research entails uh, who are going to be my customers. Because as we train this course, ultimately we are looking for web developers. We are looking for clients, people who will give us work. So that means we'll create flyers, we'll strategically place ourselves for business. But let's imagine we have got a client and they have come up to design a website. They want you to design for them a website. To implement that work, there is normally a lot that has to be done because today the clients that hire us for web development don't have experience in what we do. They have perhaps knowledge of what they want, but they don't know what you need for you to develop for them the web page. So in this lecture, we want to understand the clear process, how we'll implement our contract, how we shall fulfill the task of developing the website. So to find a target audience for your website, there are a couple of things you can do. Some people do Google Analytics. Some people do social media insights. Some people do surveys and feedback. Some people do customer interviews and testimonial. Some people do competitor analysis. So it is difficult to get to understand your audience because the toughest question you can never answer is when somebody tries to call you and then they want you to develop a website, but they ask how the website will help them. At Shareability Uganda, we try to build proposals. And I also want to think that one effective way of collecting information from the client, because implementing a web design begins with understanding what the client wants, how the website will help them. Now, we implement what the client wants in terms of content, in terms of color, in terms of call to actions. But that implementation should rhyme with demographics. It should rhyme with a lot of statistics that is available online. Peter, your microphone is on. Teacher Peter, web developer. Peter? Okay. I think it was an error. All right. So for us at Shareability, we have a proposal we give the client. This is just a school, but at least we have made a proposal for every organization, even if it is e-commerce, even if it is NGO. We try to give them a document that at least outlines something. To help you achieve something better, I've prepared some document here called website strategy worksheet. This is to help you to define the site goal, target audience, and visual direction so we can create a site that truly connects with your visitors. So there are a few questions we normally have to answer when we are going to develop a website. I may not be explicit here, but I will just sample some questions. The very first thing you need there is the business name, business organization. Now, this is given to us by the client, the description of what the business does, their products and services. AI cannot help here. Here, the client has to give us the information, including business history and background, when it was founded. So these questions are very, very key. If a person is hiring you to develop a website, you need to share with them this document and then have them answer the questions. Mission statement, core values. This, at least we can only use AI where a client is formulating the idea from scratch. Let's say they don't have any writer. Perhaps they have conceptualized the idea and they want you as a content creator to help them. Then that's when would you use AI. But at least at the core, this information has to be provided to us by the client. If I can really scroll up a little bit down, in section 2, we have website goals and objectives. Like we ask the client, what are you going to use the website for? What are the primary goals? If you don't do this, you're going to develop a website and then later the client will not find it useful. Understanding goals will at least help you to factor out several things during the implementation to see that it is not just a website having information, but clearly achieving the goal. So you ask questions like, which specific actions do you want the visitors to take on the website? Such questions will help you to suggest appropriate call to actions. CTA. What challenges or limitations should we be aware of? In number 3, ask the client target audience. Who is your primary target audience? This is very key, and later I'm going to demonstrate to you how AI can help you, because in some instances, clients don't know. Actually, as web developers, we are also digital marketing experts to help clients, because somebody may want a website, but they don't know. Or you are marketing. I've seen Brother Peter is a colleague who is currently earning from web development. He's always advertising on his status and other groups. But as we meet the clients and you interest them in the website, the quick questions they ask us normally are, how will the website help me? Probably, how will I realize income? So understanding the target audience, what their roles or job roles are, what the industry they fall in, their life situations, can help you even in organizing content. For example, if you're targeting a school website, if you're targeting school-going students, there are things you have to do on your website to really meet that age group. If you're targeting old people, there are things and colors that really have to be factored in accordingly. And then what motivates them to choose your product? Where do they usually hang out when they are online? So these questions have to be given the client. Number 4, design and brand direction. So this involves things like color palette, brand colors. Ask the client to tell you their brand colors. If not, the logo can suggest, ask whether the colors that appear in the logo are the ones that are brand colors. Ask them if they have preferences about fonts. Why? Even when we are to pair fonts, companies already have their preferences in fonts. So it is our role to find out if they have any typographies, and then we see the appropriate pairs that can work along with their font they have. They have a logo, they need one, so that can also be a job for you. In section 5, which is the second last, we have site content and features. What main pages do they need? Some of the clients already have inspirational people who are their mentors and role models. They already know what they want. So before you propose to them, the pages the website should have at least interest them. Find out from their preference in terms of pages or content they should have. Do they have images? So if they have images, the answer is yes. Then how do you collect them? If no, then consider adding on the quote the money to go and take pictures or at least buy stock photos. Okay. And in the last section is, do you need help with the following? End of the following. Like, ask them whether they will need help to maintain the website. Ask them whether their site will have multiple languages. Ask them whether they will integrate any third-party services like e-payments. You see some sites wants you to integrate, some users or some companies would want you to design a site, but link their bank accounts or integrate online payments. So you'll have this document as a resource. I really think it is important you use it to collect feedback from the client. Before you start the work, at Shareability, we used a Google form. You can also automate that document using at least a form like Google Forms or any other, maybe Microsoft Forms online way. Like you can see in an example here, we collect company name, organization name, their logo, their motto, their vision, their mission, core values, description, historical background. So any client who has given us business, before we start on their work, we need to engage them to give us information. And then later, we can use that information to prepare a proposal with the quotes. So the proposal I started with on my screen here is that for the development, because when a client engages you for a website, send them a link to collect the information. That is just to establish whether they have interest. Immediately prepare a proposal. A proposal is a write-up that outlines the document information you have received and formulates an agreement within you and then that company. It has at least the challenge, it has a solution you're proposing to them. It has even the schedule, how long you'll develop the website, suggested pages or sitemap. It even can include a quote. How much money are you charging for that work? This is something you not tell a person, or because it usually Peter can tell. The websites we develop depend, rather the cost of the charge or the rate we give for the website depend on the features or what we are going to include in the website. So you cannot give a quote unless you have understood what the website is all about. So it's important you begin by giving them the form, they fill it, you use the information they have given you to prepare a proposal, which includes a quote to them. At the bottom of the proposal is an agreement, which now authorizes you to begin up the wireframing, begin on creating content or standardizing content, and then later you now go to the web development. So we don't just start on developing a website without knowing what the client wants, without formulating the proposal, and without making an agreement with them. Finally, before we skip to the practicals, then to understand where AI comes in and where we have to create a reference point. When you don't create a proposal, your scope can always be very, very unknown. If you don't discuss with a client to agree upon on what the project will look like or what the project will have and will not have, chances are that you'll invest time in developing your website, and then the client later will complain, you took my money, you built something that does not resonate what we agreed upon. And by the way, be aware that user needs are always changing. Client will hire you today, and then tomorrow he visits another website, he looks at the colors, and then he wants to judge you according to that appearance. Yet at the very first, he preferred the color which you didn't know, or he said the color which may have changed. So the difference here is if you have a reference point, if you have a proposal, you have a write-up, you have an agreement, it is easier for you to evaluate work done at the end of the project, which is a professional requirement. Okay, colleagues, I think if there's a person having a question here in the few discussions I've met, you're free to open up. The next thing here we are going to understand is how we can proceed to use AI and where AI comes up. Brother Hatim, can you unmute a little bit?
Yes, Teacher Puga. I'm honored to be present today. So far, it is so good. I've joined late. I'm very sorry. I had somewhere I was. I happened not to join on time. But so far, it's going on well. I'm trying to develop. Yesterday, I developed the About Us page. If possible, I will share here and you happen to look at it. What I tried to come up with.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So at least Hatim will share the screen. Brother Innocent has also talked about giving us a screenshot later. I'll spare some of the minutes later towards the end of the session to give you room. So where does AI come in to help us during web development? See, AI is transforming web development. Why? Or how? It is through automation of repetitive tasks. When the clients give us content, shortly I'm going to demonstrate to you, the content they give us is very shallow. And such content cannot really be the standard for a web development, for web development. So AI can help automate repetitive tasks. AI can help improve content quality. Last week, we looked at SEO. AI can help us to create metadata, suggest appropriate keywords to use, and all that enhances user experience. So developers must learn not only the tools, but also the prompts to give best result. Because why this lecture? We know people are using AI, but what kind of prompts, what kind of input are you giving AI to yield the output? So I'll make some suggestions. Today's notes, I've included at least some references, at least to help you later on. So how can AI support web development? The first and the most important here is in content creation and management. AI can generate content for blogs, the stories. It can help provide product description. You may be building an e-commerce site. The client has given you the products. They don't even have pictures. You have to help them capture pictures. And usually when we are adding products on e-commerce website, we have to put descriptions and other content. So AI can help do that. AI can help to create page content. And this is usually within the WordPress editors or using the independent AI tools like ChatGPT and so forth. AI can also help us to customize the theme. How? It can suggest the color palettes, the typographies, and sometimes with the CSS code to improve on our menu. If you're using a bare-bone theme, or if you're using a theme which does not have good menu, you can ask AI to generate some CSS code that you can add in your WordPress to improve it. AI can also help us to optimize pages. How? I've told you, by generating meta titles or metadata keywords to help improve the visibility of data. Number 4, AI can help us to do customer support and engagement. We can add at least like widget or chat features, chatbots on every website we build to allow the users interact with. And there are many chatbots to add on your web pages, on your websites. As a web person, as a visitor comes to it, you can interact with that chatbot. Then AI can also help you to scan your site for security log. It can also summarize any suspicious activity. At the primary point, you can ask it to suggest appropriate plugins and maintenance practices to keep your site safe. So there are some benefits of using AI. What can we benefit along when we use AI? Number 1, faster content publishing. Instead of having to spend a lot of time creating content, by using AI, we can achieve faster content publication. When we automate SEO, we improve our ranking, we improve our traffic. It can also build customer engagement through the chatbots and so forth. It can improve site security. It can also help us to do accessibility compliance. You can ask it to suggest different practices or different things you have to do to make your website accessible to all people, to give at least suggestion. What challenges exist today? Of course, some people think that AI renders our creativity. People think that by using AI and sharing our data, we are trying to make our data subject to access and maybe access to different people. But that is not the case. I think you'll have these notes here. It's a Word document. I'll give a PDF to you to read and internalize. Please, let's privilege good use of it. Okay, where do we start from? This is our starting from. I told you, immediately you get a job for building a website, or when somebody calls you, they're interested in the website, send them a link to collect data. So far, right now, I'm going to show you some of my responses we have, and I show you the challenge, and then we link to how AI can help. So I can view this in spreadsheets on another browser. And then, okay, I can even stick to this as well. All right, this content is very private. I'm just going to show you one client to give data here. Okay, let me look for one. Where, okay, there's this one. The website company name, the client filled this website, this form. He gave us their organization name. He gave us the logo. He gave us the motto. He gave us the vision. He gave us the mission. He gave us the core values. He gave us the description about the company, the historical background, the products they were doing, address, contact. So this is some of the information, plus some media. This is what the client gave us. Now, you cannot proceed to open your WordPress studio. Huh? Yeah, some people would just immediately proceed to open their WordPress studio, create a site, install a theme, or they would ask the client for money immediately through a proposal, and then now they proceed to, sorry, it is still launching, they proceed to develop the website. So before you begin building the website, like in other words, before you open up WordPress Studio or before you log in the website and start building, you have to consider standardizing or improving the quality of this information given to you. Of course, information will always be accurate as given to you by the client, but additional to it, we need to use AI to help us understand how best we can structure and how best we can use it on our web page. Now, there are many tools you can use. The tools you can use include ChatGPT here. This is the free tool. I will demonstrate to you in the free tool, and then also ChatGPT Plus or the premium plan. That you see the difference. Huh? If you don't use ChatGPT, you can also use Grok. Grok is by this guy of X. Huh? It's a good one lately. You can also use Meta. I know there are many tools. I don't know the one you're using for your research or for your enhancement. Huh? Later, we'll interact to find out from the one you're using. So after getting this information from my clients, the immediate thing I would wish to interact with AI to help me best structure this data, to understand the target, to understand the audience I'm going to build this website. I want to begin with ChatGPT Plus. Those who will be interested in working with ChatGPT Plus at Shareability within 30K. If you pay 30K at least, we can give you the Pro, the Plus, and this will allow you to go faster, go smarter, will allow you to boost the speed, will also unlock ChatGPT 5. So in case you are interested, let me know and I help you get this license so that you can probably work with ChatGPT Plus. So I'm going to start with Plus, then later we'll compare with the free version. So I have at least a Plus here on my extreme right. I'm already logged in. So if you look at the bottom here, it is Shareability Web Services and it is Plus. Previously, in this web browser, if you see, this is the free plan. In the free plan. So I want to see later the difference. Now, I prepared some prompt for you, and I'll be giving you this prompt as well. Let me first paste and we read through it. The first prompt it goes as follows. I am creating a website called a reading room. Please, I don't want to deviate. I chose to create a reading room, but if you have already been contracted by a client, they want a school website, and you've already received the data on the form, you would put here the title of the website, and then with some details like what that company is all about. So here, my prompt is I'm creating a website called Reading Room, which will include comprehensive library on different academic resources like past papers, notes, reading tips, and other academic responses. You can customize this to fit the type of website you want to build after engaging the client. I've started with the most difficult part. Can you define the demographic of people I should be targeting for this site? Why do you begin with demographics? When clients give us projects to develop, usually the colors, the content structure, the content itself, illustrations you're going to use have to be factored to fit the demographic, to fit the target group of people. In the document worksheet you've seen, I've put emphasis on that. The clients give us content, but usually the way we are going to structure the content depends on who is going to use our website. So I'm asking ChatGPT here to define the demographic of people I should be targeting for this website, including the age, sex, employment. Include anything that would help me in my design. So let me try to press enter and allow ChatGPT Plus to try out here. Okay, these are the responses we have. Says, okay, it says here, here's a breakdown of the demographic profile you should consider for your reading room website. Age, look at 13 to 25 years. I think those are school secondary students or an A level who are using past papers. You don't expect the bigger group, 25 plus. Those are teachers and they are fewer. So the main target here would be the secondary school students or the university students looking for academic resources. It extends to users, young professional and teachers who may want reference materials, tips. Okay. Design implication, keep the interface youthful, vibrant, and mobile fast, since students often access via mobile phones. Include simple navigation, large icons, and quick search options. So let's look at sex. So the first demographic here is age. The second demographic is sex, both male and female users. Okay. So design consideration, avoid gender-coded colors and stereotypes. Instead, use neutral or inclusive branding. Education, students, okay, this is still the same. Because here our occupation, remember in the worksheet I recommended that in the demographic you should find about the occupation, the work of the web visitors, the ones you are targeting. What do they do? So teachers who use resources to prepare lessons or guide learners, parents who may check the site for support materials. Okay, so what implication? Have a clear categories, past papers, notes, reading tips, academic skills. Add filters to help group content according to different categories. Now, this location is very key. When you build your website, though later when uploaded, it's going to be on the World Wide Web, accessible by the entire world, we need to know our target location. For this case, Uganda and East Africa primarily. Why? Since resources like past papers are usually tied to UNEP and regional curricula. I think this is key. So implication, include countries, include country and region filters for past papers. Okay. And then which technology do they use? Most students will use mobile phones. Why do we look at technology? This is responsiveness, prioritize responsiveness and making downloads light, not too heavy. Okay. Socio-economic background. Many learners come from low income, so you expect not to have big market on the premium resources. You may just have a few, but majority of your content should be free. So that can be a good factor. Now, when it comes to psychographics, you see motivated learners seeking exam pass, teachers who want to supplement. The implication here is add motivational sections like reading tips, study habits, academic success stories, and so forth. Include a blog or student voices area. So accordingly, it has given a summary here. Target secondary school or university students, age provided, gender provided, occupation is education because it has mentioned here. And then it says focus on mobile first. Okay. And make the content to be, the layout to be lightweight with clear categorization of subject and level. So this is the first thing AI has given us. The second prompt now would be to ask AI to suggest details like what? Let me paste and show you. So now I'm going to ask it in the following ways. So I'm designing a website for the following demographic. Now that you have the demographic, so now we are asking it to give me or give us ideas on what I need to include in the design. Okay. It includes colors, fonts, features to make the design uninteresting and stimulating. Now, when you write that, you can go ahead and then copy the demographic that they have given to you. Just highlight everything, okay, including the age. Or you can even use the summary given to you. So I've just highlighted everything. I'll right click copy and give it the demographic. So in other words, you can even just say, provide, basing on the demographic created above, create ideas on what I need to include in this design. For me, I've asked it, can you please give me ideas on what I need to include in my design? That includes color, fonts, features, and so forth. Okay, let me generate this prompt. All right, so from this prompt here, I have the colors. In the colors, they have suggested the primary palette use blue tones. Why? Building trust, knowledge, calmness, and inclusivity. Green tones, green accents, white background. So in my color palette, they have suggested me to use these colors, but still generic. It is not yet specific because we have not yet specified. I'm going to show you how to specify it. So it is recommending that utilize blue tones for the primary color, gray accents, and white background. Highlight colors, it is recommending orange and yellow. Okay. Fonts, primary text is recommending use simple, readable fonts like Roboto, Lato, best for notes and past papers. Heading, slightly more stylish, engaging fonts like Pompins, Monsterrat, Newton. Avoid overly decorative fonts. Features, it is giving me the features I can include on the website. Provide a search bar to allow the student search for the subjects or filter or look for class and gender. Okay. Add filter tags. Okay. Add downloadable PDFs and make them light size. So these design considerations are very important. They form the blueprint, or they really make the foundation. Okay, engaging and motivation, they are at least giving us some recommended articles to utilize. Okay, in navigation, top menu saying home, past papers, notes, reading room, student voices, about. Categories, they have even given us here what to use. Breed clamp, they are even recommending us to use a breed clamp, and so forth. Now, the next prompt I'm going to give it is this one. I'm going to ask it to now be precise. I'm going to ask it to create color swatches, font pairing for this website, basing on the above, because now that it has given you whatever, you now want it to be very specific, which blue tone, because it is recommending in the colors, blue tones, green accents, white background. It is even additionally still giving so many suggestions in fonts. Roboto, Lato. So this may not be decisive yet. So I've given a prompt directing ChatGPT here to create a color swatch font pairing for this website. Now I can press enter and wait for it to analyze and determine appropriate colors. Okay, with the appropriate font pairings. Okay, so it has given me here the color swatch, reading room website color swatch. Primary color, use this. Secondary color, use this. Background, use this. Highlight, use this. Accent, neutral gray, dark. Now it goes ahead to provide the font pairing. Roboto for body, Pompins for the headings. This is what I wanted. It even gives reasons why it has given that. It also suggests if you don't use that, maybe use Open Sans for body, Montserrat. So it is from this that you can now proceed to Google Fonts to download, just as we discussed last time. Now let me, okay. Let's say create a reference. Create a reference document, including color palette with the hex codes, and appropriate font pairings suggested with one. Let me say with one with an appropriate one font pairing to use on my website. Now I wanted to create a reference document. Now this cannot occur in the free version. In the free version, it will just bring you responses, but in the plus, at least there is much research done, including searching from the web. So it has given me a reference document here. I can now click on it to download it. This is the reference document it has given me. Just to show you, it has suggested the color palette here. Primary color is this, secondary color is this, background is this, highlights, and then the font pairing. It has also suggested Pompins are Roboto. So this is the very first thing you people can use AI for. Maybe let me finalize with this. Let me tell it to rewrite the document, indicating how the fonts will be used in different parts of my website. Okay. Includes font units or spacing in this. Write the document indicating how the fonts will be used in the different parts of the website. Include the font units and spacings. Okay. I wanted to add something in the document because the document looks good, but then I want it to suggest something else. So I've added a prompt to it. All right, so he has updated the document. I can now click on it to download, and my document will pop up. So this is the document. Let's go over it again. The colors, at least they are okay. Our next task is to just copy these colors and then paste them in the document. That is where we're going to use them. Font pairing, we have to download them using the previous skills we have covered in the course, and later add them on the website using still the same thing. Headings, it has suggested H1 to H3, use Pompins, and the size for the headings it has given to us here in pixels. I can even ask it to use rems, because last time we talked about pixels, rems, EMs, and then recommend that for mobile responsive, we have to use rems, EM, not the pixels. So it has suggested pixels. We can ask it to rewrite that to include at least the rems as well, not the pixels, for purposes of responsiveness. Okay, this is good enough. for you who is completely stuck and may always want to use AI. But remember, I told you this is conditionally. A client will give you a color, or some client will give you the fonts. Some clients know what they want. Huh? So we only shall integrate AI to standardize. And in that case, when you are generating prompts, huh, please mention some of the features the client has given you to see that AI can factor in the colors to create a palette. Huh? Maybe in this prompt above, we would have told it to at least use, would have suggested the color. Where is the prompt? I think it's here. A little bit here. No. Down a little bit. Let me scroll. Okay. Can you create color swatches or color palette font pairings for this website? So you would mention some colors or some fonts that you have got from the client, and then ask it to add to that color other colors and that font other fonts which are appropriate in the design. All right, members, this is a little bit, this is the very first part on how we can use AI at the foundation when taking a decision on the basics or the key features. Unless there's a question, please ask, but I want to proceed to the next part where I will now try to be explicit in content and probably SEO, because this is done. Okay, is there any question? Can I have some feedback? Are you people able to hear me? I know I'm talking to my screen here. I want us to do some interaction a little bit, get feedback from you that side, whether we are moving closely. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, I have feedback from Comrade Peter. Yes, thank you, Senior, for that feedback. I have two colleagues using Samsung. Please rename. Kindly unmute and greet us, or probably share some experiences. Have you been using AI? Can I know who is Samsung SM? I've asked you to unmute. Kindly unmute. If you can hear me, please unmute. I've sent you a request to unmute. We are going. Let me bring in Hatim, Comrade Hatim. Yes, Brother Innocent, your microphone is open.
Yes, my question is, you promised to show us the unpaid version of the AI.
All right, so it is just to demonstrate.
So where we shall see maybe some questions not getting answered as we expect. Yeah.
All right. Let me copy.
And then,
yes, please ask.
maybe the last one, still on that matter. That 30,000, is it annually or it's monthly pay? Because it's like I saw something like a month on the flyer.
It is monthly, like you can see, per month. Yeah, because the chat GPT normally it's more than this. I can try to show you the pricing plan since I'm already here on chat GPT. So if I click on my account here, but even here, I can just generate a prompt. Let me say chat GPT pricing plans. All right, I've generated that prompt here, ChatGPT pricing plans. If you want to buy from ChatGPT itself, the plus you pay $20 per month. Okay, if I can show you $20 to UGX, that is about 70K. 70K per month. That is for plus. Then we have the Pro here, which is 200 for Teams. Like here we have Teams, and this $200. If I can show you the cost, lately it is About 3,139.40. So you can choose to pay alone, and you pay 70 per month, 70 to 80 per month, or you can come and we pay as a team together, and we enjoy it here collectively as a team. That is the essence, the justification. But besides ChatGPT, there is Grok. I use a lot of Grok. Grok is another one. You can, let me also show you Grok pricing plans. Okay, let me hope I wrote that. All right, here, I'll use it here. Grok pricing plans. Okay. All right, let me open this Grok pricing plans. Hope it will not just, but even if it opens. So for Grok, you pay $30 per month. And you know, $30, I think that's about 2 new GX. I'm using the online converters to get to know the current dollar rate. This is about 105,458 per month. And Grok is very powerful. We also use Grok here. Then there's also Grok, Super Grok Heavy. Super Grok is at 30, and then Super Grok Heavy is $300. Depending, you can take a decision on what to use. But to answer the question, in the free plan here of ChatGPT, I am going to make a prompt. This is the prompt. Let me zoom a little bit. Control plus in my browser. The same prompt we generated previously. I'm creating a website called The Reading Room, which will include a comprehensive library on the different academic resources like past papers, notes, reading tips. Can you define the demographic of people I should be targeting for this website? Earlier on, I told you, if you don't use AI to get the demographics, you can use Google Analytics. You can use social media insights. You can do surveys or do feedback collection. Like you get a form, send to people, fill in, and then you get statistics later, do the ranking. So here AI tries to look at the online databases available already and check our prompt to it and give us some results depending on what it has to its database. Now I'm asking it, let me generate this in the free plan. Okay, in the free plan, they mentioned something. The primary audience age is 13 to 30. If you recall, what was the age group the other side? It was age of 13 to 25. Secondary teachers are mentioned. So in the free plan, yes, you'll have some responses, but usually if you continue, as you continue using it, you realize that it has limitation, and probably there are times when, let me paste this as well. Okay, and I also copy the demographics here that we have got. I'll copy this demographic and I put it here. This we already done through. So color palette does the same thing. But if you try to analyze critically, there are some differences, because even in the prompt here, there are some variations in terms of facts. So in a free plan, because of the limitation in the database that is being utilized to search, you may not get very accurate data. Yes, you'll have some accuracy, but with low metric. But then also, when you engage it in extensively to begin now, remember in the second prompt, when I asked it to create a color palette, no. Okay. Let me ask it. Can you now create Basing on the above, the above recommendation. Okay. Absolutely. So it has given again the color swatch here to use, academic blue. All right. There is even some font it is giving, pumpings, the body. Okay. All right. Let me try to create a reference document. I can use that includes the color. Okay. I think color palette. How do you write palette? Like this? Color palette. I don't know. The font pairing, and any other information. Okay. Any other information. Okay. So here you see it has just given us the document, and yes, you can't download, you can just copy it and put it in the Word document. Let me hope you've seen. Maybe later you can ask it to create a document, put it in a Word document, but you can also just copy and paste. In the Pro, everything was done for you, but almost similar results. Variations in the time taken to create, because previously you saw in the Plus, it was taking some time to compile data. That compilation, all that time you saw it taking, was attributed to research it was doing in the background to look at different sources. The same to Grok actually. In Grok, we have auto here, which gives you results very fast. And then I have expert mode. So if you want to try something in the expert mode, this is the premium testing. You are given some few minutes or some memory. Should you use like type 3-4 questions, then the other questions will not work. They will tell you to come back tomorrow or come back after some time to generate more prompts. I want to conclude the video or the lecture with some demonstrations on content, because I believe now we have ideas on how we can factor in demographics, because in the work, this strategy you are going to receive today, some information is given to you. The client will fill the form, give you the information. So immediately after you have got that information, you proceed to section 2. So this is where AI comes in, because it can help us to determine the primary goals for the website. This is what we're calling demographics. Know the target audience, know the role, the occupation they belong, so that we can choose appropriate colors, choose fonts, look at design considerations that we have to undertake to achieve that demographic or that target audience together with the goal accordingly. So we are at this section. We have generated a color palette. We have the brand colors. We have the typographic preferences. Kindly, if you forget, or you remember last time I gave you coolers.co. That's one of the website I recommended. I think I've written it wrongly. It is coolers. Let me write it properly. Coolers.co. Another website I gave you was Color Font, Color Hunt. It is colorhunt.co. If you check your notes. So colorhunt.co has many palettes. Why is coolers not working? It is written as colors.co. I think I'm just writing it wrongly here. That's a URL. It's all wrong URL I'm using. But Color Hunt has come here. You can further try to change the colors. You can always come to colorhunt.co and pick other palettes. Maybe if you've got this one, you can click on the palette and then right click, rather copy the colors given to you. You can even take the image and paste it like it did, or you can just copy the link. Which one? Where is the cooler? Is it in this tab here? Could it be? Let me check here. Was it, how did we write it? Coolers. I've forgotten it, I think. Coolers, let's see. It should be me writing it wrongly. Now I'll come back to it. Where is our summary? My summary right now is to look at our other way of using AI. Because you see here, besides generating color palettes, there is also, let me bring up the document here. Okay. So there's content creation and management. AI can help us to generate content. So how do we generate content? Remember, I've just told you that clients will feel, they'll give you some basic information like the company name, the motto, the vision, mission. So I'm going to continue with the same prompts. At this very point, immediately AI has created the color palette for you, and you have downloaded the reference document. You can try to ask it to suggest, maybe suggest appropriate pages. I can use, or I can include on this website. But this can be done after you have given it some description. You don't just come here and I'm now going to use this prompt because it has some history of what I've been doing. Suggest appropriate pages I can include on this website. It knows the website as the reading room, so it's going to use the memory which it has created. So it has suggested homepage, brief in the first page is home, second page is past papers, notes, reading room, academic resources. Because in the worksheets you're going to receive, very, very importantly is you need to find out from the client how many pages, where is that part? I think it is this one, on site content and features. What main pages do you need? Do you already have written content for the website? Do you have images, or will you need stock photos? What features do you want to include? So at least the client, if he has given you a response, well and good. But even if they don't have the response and you're the one to suggest, then you can ask AI to suggest the pages, because even from this suggestion, you can include in the proposal and say, okay, client, whereas you have filled the form, this is the proposal, and in our solution, our proposed this solution will include the following pages. It is important, friends, for you to agree with the client on the structure of your website, because you want them to use that to pay you the other balance. Because they will pay some money at the start, but they can keep telling you that you have not finished the work. So having a clear content structure in terms of main pages first is primary and very important. Now, from these pages, I can now proceed and give it some information. Say, the client has already filled my form. He has given me the mission and vision. So I can put the vision, mission together with the core values, and I start asking it to use this information to suggest other information. How do I do that? The first thing for me normally I do is I create Notepad or I create a Word document and I copy this information into a Word document. Say I will copy the company name. If not, you can just export the information for you. It's a company name. This case is going to be the reading room. Okay, reading room. The motto slogan, copy it, put it in a document. Because you want to go to AI when you have some prompt, motto slogan. Let me think about it. Vision, it's also something there. Copy it, put it in a notepad. Okay. Now, mission, also copy it as well, because this is given to you by the client, unless the client is hiring you to develop for them the mission and vision. But usually they have such information, so you don't need to use AI to create the mission and vision. That information is given to you. Our task is to use that information and proceed. So this is how you would achieve out a good prompt. Prepare together all the information the client has given you, all of it the way you asked it. Copy it. To save time, I already prepared mine, so I'm going to pick it from here. Where is the reading room? Reading room, reading room. So I'm going to copy this content, the same content I've up to here. Okay. Copy the content you've prepared, go back to your AI prompts, which you are making, because it has already suggested pages for you. Then begin by writing the prompt. Here is the primary content I got from, okay, let me see, I've prepared. Here is the primary content, question mark. Now, normally, if you want to create a new line in a prompt, you hold Shift key and press Enter. When you just press Enter, to automatically start thinking, imagining that was the prompt. I've written the first sentence, put a full colon, held Shift Enter to create a new line, and I'll paste the contents that I have prepared or I've got from the client. I'll go or scroll to the extreme end, again press Enter to create a new line. And where am I? So we're at the new line, and I'm going to now generate the prompt here. Say using, let me just say, use the above suggested page structure to create detailed content I can use while building, okay, those pages. So I've given it a prompt. Now I can press enter, and now it will give the suggestion. So homepage, in the hero section, have the headline, simplifying learning, shaping character, and sub-headline, access simplified CBC resources, digital resources, and then it suggests the links you can have. On the past papers page, the intro, actually, I think this is still the home page. This is another page. It has given a suggestion. So it is from this suggestion, my friends who are on call, that we can further ask it to detail. So it has given me something here. Alternatively, I can just choose to use Grok. Let me try to open the new tab and I show you how Grok can be beautiful. Grok.com is here. So at least for Grok, for ChatGPT, I've shown you how to suggest content, to ask it suggest content. Now, when you start building the home page, you have an idea on what you're going to put on the home page. But this is still shallow. You need to generate prompts page by page. Proceed, and then ask it, highlight this content it has given you, and then ask it to detail for you to create the home page. But let me go to Grok and show you. I'm going to switch to expert mode here. I've told you in the expert mode, you have limited time. It thinks hard, lower than you, but you have limited time. You cannot use it for so many hours. This is the premium, part of the premium tool in a free plan. Okay, let me generate a prompt to guess I am. Let me just copy it to save time. I already generally prepared something here. Okay, I'm going to copy this. I'm creating a website called the Reading Room, which will include comprehensive library on the different academic resources like past papers, notes, reading tips, and other academic resources. Can you, let me remove this. Can you create some posts I can use? Can you create some posts I can create? Okay, I can add on this website. I'm using Grok to search for posts. I use ChatGPT to search for pages. Either way, you can use it all for everything. But now that I've demonstrated about pages, I want to demonstrate about posts as well. So I'm asking Grok to suggest posts I can add on this website. Please add or include the categories for the posts. Let me press enter. So now the beauty with Grok, I just want you to look at the syntax here. Because you have selected expert mode, it's going to plan and then give you content. This time around, it has thought very quickly. But usually, depending on the prompt, it can take a lot of time, which includes doing some research online to check different content which is already there. So it has begun by suggesting categories for the posts. Please consider creating these categories: past papers, notes, reading room. Now, immediately before you begin creating content in your WordPress site, let me just do some demo quickly. I'm going to open my local here, rather WordPress Studio, and I've clicked on WP Admin. Let me allow it to log in quickly. So before you begin adding the posts, you have to begin creating the categories, because now the posts given to you have to be allocated to categories. So this is the dashboard. To begin adding the posts, you go to posts here, then select categories, and then create the category. One of the category it has suggested is past papers. I would highlight past papers, and then I put here the category. Scroll down. You can even ask it to add a description and a slang, but let me do quickly. I'll just click add category. I have a past paper. Then I can proceed and look at the other post category. It has given notes. So I'll put here a category, click add category. Copy the other reading tips, and then now come here and add, and also click what? Add category. So when those categories have been added, you can now go and look at the posts here it has suggested. Please take note, these are just yet post suggestions. It has not yet written a post. It has suggested one of the post title as Mastering High School Math, Algebra Past Papers. You can write an article about algebra. The university entrance exams, physics past papers, they have suggested that one. Biology essentials, cell structure, advanced economics. So these are the posts, speed reading techniques for business students. So imagine I want this detailed. I can copy everything it has given in the suggestion, and then during the prompt, I will now ask it to detail this post, or I can ask it to write a detailed post about. So I put a colony, press enter, and then I paste the suggestion it has given to me. I've written some prompt, then posted. Maybe I can add something at the bottom. Let me add something. Say include references or links. Include links to the resources. One of the ways you can improve your article in terms of SEO is by adding links. Include references or links to the resources you will use while writing this article. So when I press enter, Grok here is going to plan and then write for us a detailed post. It will take some time, but the reason it does so is to give you a good post you can write. See, it is even searching the web. That's why I told you, depending on the nature of the prompt you're using, the time taken. So it is doing a lot of research to see that whatever it will give you yields matter or is purposeful. Let's just hang on a little bit as it generates the post. All right. So if it was a free tool, or if it was a tool which is, I will not mention the name, maybe would have already given you an answer. You've seen some articles when they're just like, okay, let me look at what it is writing here. The article title is Speedy Reading Techniques for Business Students. Okay, so it gives the articles with the links. Links are this one. So you can always click on this to go to the website which it has used. Don't worry, you can come back to it because it opens the new tab. When you click on any link, it opens a new tab. So when writing a given article, I'll just demonstrate here quickly how I would write one. Usually I'll copy this out the very way it is. You see, it thought for 1 minute. It took 1 minute to think. So you copy your article title, and in your WordPress site, you click add post, click add post. And when you click add post, begin by pasting the post title. Okay. Next thing, you go to the content which it has given you. Copy this content. Copy the content it has provided. Okay. Control C. Come and click here. Paste the content. Please wait to save because there are several things you have to do here internally. One of it is you click on post on the extreme right. Click on featured image. It means you have to search for a picture about reading. Include a picture which rhymes with this article to be the featured image. So if you scroll at the bottom here, there are categories. Select an appropriate what? Category. This is reading tips. The last thing is to add internal linking. So you go to your article, read through, see where it suggested the links here. Okay. Below we will delve into the method. So it gives a link. So always click on this link. And once you click on it, it will redirect you to a new browser. Now you can copy this link and then go to your post, find where it is best recommended. Maybe it is about this one. I'll just highlight this, click on the link, and then paste that link accordingly. Where you want to allow the web visitors to go to other websites. Or you can just add them at the end as references. So that is a recommendation. Before we save and exit, I just want to show you the document here, and I conclude with one thing here. So generating content is very key. AI can help us to write SEO-friendly WordPress posts. If you're using ChatGPT, you can copy this example prompt I've given. Okay, even in Grok, you can copy it. This is the prompt. Let me zoom a little bit. It is write a 600-word SEO-friendly WordPress blog post about the topic. So you go back to the topics they have given to you. This is the article. Pick the topic and then paste it here. Because like I told you, getting good results depends on the prompt. So I can wish to ask AI to generate for me a prompt. Then immediately I use that same prompt for SEO. I'll first remove this. If you've not used such a good prompt, then you can ask it to include or create suggestions. Say, create suggestions or suggests the different ways how we can integrate SEO practices in this article. Imagine you don't know about SEO, but now you've already got the article, so you can ask it to suggest how you can integrate. Then it will give you suggestions on how best you can integrate SEO. With that very article, the other way is just to create a prompt, and in that very prompt, you ask AI to create for you the post, but making it SEO friendly so that it gives the suggestions. So please, I believe you people have seen that AI is very, very key. In this lesson, I've covered some few ways. I wish to ask you to go and try out using the prompts. In the notes I'll give you, I've put some prompts. And some of the prompts I've not been practicing them, or I've not been demonstrating them because I knew you're going to try out. For example, when it comes to SEO, you are supposed to ask it to help you generate meta tags, metadata, the one to include in the pages. So every page you create, you ask it to generate for you the metadata for that very page to include in your website. Thank you for listening. I'm going to stop here and probably invite any question there. This has been our lecture. Feel free to unmute and ask your question accordingly as we wrap up our session. Thank you for attending. Can I ask members who have any question to unmute and ask accordingly?
Okay, mine is thanks for what we have covered. It's really good that we have added on what we knew and perhaps really made it bigger. You happen to ask of a question, which was that which other AI versions have we used or types? Now, I've used this one called Gemini.
Gemini.
Gemini. Then there is DeepSeek. So these two at least I've also seen them, but I've also got to know something today. This thing of like the one in Grok where you can choose expert, like you keep integrating it to look for the best. For the best results. So I didn't know that also with Grok, there's something like that. So you see, I've also really benefited. So thank you so much for sharing that knowledge. And for now, I really don't have much to say. But what I wanted to ask is that now, like when we are having this projection, we have seen presentations whereby someone is presenting and there is maybe you are speaking in a language and later it is translated. Which kind of AI is that? Or it's a kind of a setting in Zoom, or like, for instance, your lecture has been ongoing, right? And there's some text below the slides. How is that? Yes.
It depends. If it is within the conferencing tool like Zoom, I have to explore that plan, the settings here. I know there could be something, some feature there. Yeah, but it depends on the conferencing tool we are using. Most of the conferencing tool have got ability to provide transcripts or provide those captions as the speaker tries to talk. But for web development, you can always add a plugin that can. I'm talking about now the web content. If you've developed your web in English, rather we've written your content in English, we can add a plugin that can allow a user to switch languages at the top to like select the language of their preference to display the content, and automatically that plugin will do the translation of the content. So colleagues, this week or the first 2 weeks we've been covering a lot of theories, a lot of basics. Like I was telling Innocent at the very beginning, week 3 and week 4 are fully practical. We'll be just creating pages and applying those features. So the 3 days or 3 lectures that are coming up are dedicated to content building and factoring in whatever we've learned. I've also told Innocent at the very beginning that for week 3 and week 4, we're going to leave it to the people who have paid, because at the very start I told you it is only a few members that have supported the class, and we've been even making the class live recording shared in the group. For next week, we'll have the video available for only the members that have cleared. So I want to ask members to support the class by at least making the payment to allow us to get some data during the course. Otherwise, please feel free to let me know if you have any challenge, and I support you accordingly. Peter, your hand is up.
Okay, thank you, Comrade Teacher Dennis Kroger. We are really so much happy with the lectures that are going on, and they are really giving us a upper hand now to adjust where we have been not well off, but now through you, you have given us a lot of guidance. I have also been using ChatGPT to generate marking guides. Yeah, ChatGPT really helps a lot. As long as you have as long as you have tailored it well to humanized content, it really brings to any level of the learner, from primary, secondary, up to the university level. Now, I have mine is just like again. I still have the other challenge, because last time WordPress was disturbing me until I had to change Windows, but still. When I downloaded and I installed it, I successfully created the pages, but it refused me to add plugins, themes, and other things. I really, the challenge, yeah.
And last
I really
time, you
even that.
thank you for the
Last
feedback.
time, yeah, it was not running Windows 11 completely, and it only accepted my machine only runs in Windows 11. If it is 10, it is 10 Pro. But still, the website is not allowing me to actually install themes, plugins, and also create the main menu part of the pages. And then the other thing I saw I have seen you talking about categories here. I don't know whether categories are like the sub pages. I mean, the drop down menu pages. Are they the same, or
No.
there is a big difference?
Let me show you
Yes,
something.
that's just
Yeah, thank you for the feedback, Comrade Peter. Comrade Peter is already a practicing web developer. I've seen his advertising. So colleagues, if you have some gigs, let's always work together. That's why I renamed the group to web developers. We are now a team, so we are going to be supporting each other during web development. I've dedicated Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursday for us to connect. And I want to invite you colleagues to let me know when you have any challenge. So when you create a post, I don't know, this one, according to, whenever you create a posts are grouped according to categories. Categories are like the ways of putting them together, or trying to pair posts according to characteristics or features. Now, where do you see the categories? According to the settings you'll have made in your template, when a post is being displayed in the metadata, you will have the post name, the post date, and then the category. So users can always click on categories here to see other posts that have the same category. It may be you've created 3 posts, they're about reading tips. You have shared one post on WhatsApp, and user has read or has got a post online and they have got it very interesting. So they can click on category to see the different posts relatedly. So every time we are creating posts, we have to go ahead and assign them categories for good clustering or for good organization. Second question, I would ask us to connect remotely. Tomorrow is my day off, but Sunday, kindly let me know. I'm always online home. Let me share with you the link. Just WhatsApp me and then I'll send you the Zoom link. Then we'll connect, you share your screen, and I help you. Because I really want you to have the value for us connecting and sharing. Don't keep quiet and wait until the class friends. Alert me and I can always connect immediately. So far, I've supported some colleagues you see in the group but are not attending. They always ask me after watching the video and I help them. And I believe next week, those requests may come many because we'll be covering more practicals, not the theories. Otherwise, thank you for the compliment. I receive it warmly. Comrade, you had a question. Comrade Innocent, could you now share your screen? I don't know if you're using the phone or the laptop. Which one do you prefer? Can you share your screen right now and we see
At the moment, I'm on a phone. My computer is away from me.
Okay, but I
yeah,
want
but I will
you to take a screenshot and share in the group.
Yeah, it's okay.
Kali.
All right.
Thank you. Colleagues, let me end it here and I send you the recording together with the documents I've been using. But more importantly, I want you to use this document, look at it, and every time you are designing a website, ask the client to give you information according to this order. Either create gaps, print it, give them the paper to fill, or automate it like we have done at Shareability. You need any help on how to use Google Forms, let me know. I can help you learn how to create your Google form to include the web strategy, the collection form. Otherwise, I appreciate you for attending the lesson. I would want to have a volunteer say a closing prayer, and we end it here immediately. Who would love to give us a closing prayer?
Right. Let's get humbled. We pray. Yes. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for bringing us this far. From the time that we began this lesson up to now that we are ending it, we pray that as we leave this place, as we leave this platform, may we all go in peace, and then we shall give back glory into your name, Father. We pray for our tutor, our instructor who has been so with us, helpful in a way that even he guides us where we are offline and perhaps gives feedback. We appreciate whoever has joined in today, and we pray for those who have not joined, Father. Next time, may they join. We pray that whatever is keeping them unknown to join, Father, may you grant them the place and the time that next time they can also be part of us. As we leave this place, may you move with us. as we go through the weekend, be amidst us, and also as we get back next week for the real practicals, that everyone may manage, and then we shall give back glory into your name, Father. In Jesus' mighty name, I pray and believe. Amen.
Amen. All right, thank you, colleagues. Let me send login details this evening to Innocent, Rebecca, and others that have cleared, because next week we'll have to do online. Have a good day. Till then, be safe.